am shocked because I liked this movie. I'm honestly shocked. I thought I was going to hate it. I don't understand why I like it. Well, I do understand. But we're going to talk about it because I thought that this was going to be terrible. Honestly, especially from even watching the trailer and the teasers, it looked really bad to me, so I did not have high hopes for this movie. But I'm shocked because it wasn't bad. There's some moments that we're going to talk about that I think were a little, not a little, they were cringy. I'm shocked. So this film follows the same cast as the first one, with some exceptions, of course, but we have Gemma. She is the aunt to Katie. Gemma has moved away from doing robotics, and she is now in a non-profit organization, basically going against the creation of AI, and I guess not necessarily going against AI itself, but they're more trying to implement technology to assist humans with work or assist us in different ways, but not to create things that could potentially be harmful to humans. Her mission is to try and avoid what happened with M3GAN. And Katie is also now a teenager and wanting to get into robotics, wanting to study computer science and kind of be like Gemma. And we also see that she still has moments of trauma from the first movie of having to, kill off M3GAN. And some of the trauma from witnessing her aunt being attacked and the whole thing that went down in the first movie. So it's kind of the setup. And then, of course, what I knew and then expected with the second film was the introduction of a new robot that's even more powerful than M3GAN. Basically, the government uses it to assist them in bringing back a man that was kidnapped by a foreign government. But this AI named Amelia basically turns on everyone and ends up killing the victim, the kidnapping victim. And then she goes on a killing spree and is killing all of these people. And we kind of see that her mission is not being controlled by anyone. And just trying to take control and kill off anybody that has power over her or is trying to gain power over her. So, all these people are dying. The FBI are looking at Gemma because they're like, it looks like she's built off of technology that you created when you made M3GAN. Like, somebody must have stole your files, or they assume she sold off her program files for M3GAN, even though she said they're wiped. She has no access, she's gone. But as we see, M3GAN is still alive and well within the house. She's kind of still built herself around their house, so she's helping the family out in ways that they didn't realize until when the FBI is showing up and trying to raid her place to find these files. I won't go into more details just because, if you want to watch it, I won't spoil the entire thing. But I do want to talk about, I guess, first, my biggest critique with it, which is I don't like how they designed Amelia's character visually, because with M3GAN they used a combination between CGI and also practical effects to kind of like makeup and practical effects to have it look, you know, kind of the uncanny valley look of like it's very clearly not a human, it's like a doll. Like the skin and the eyes, like it's all not human. For Amelia, however, they very clearly just used an actress and they did little to no visual effects on her. They did in moments where it like shows her body, like a full body shot, or like when her clothes are off of, you know, showing some of the robotic elements to her. But her face is completely just like human. And that I really didn't like, because I think there's so many AI movies that just use actors and they're just, to me, very unrealistic. Not that M3GAN is all that realistic, but I think it's more believable that it would still resemble like a doll or like something that is, you know, fathomable for us to create. Whereas if you're using an actor, you're telling us that we're able to make a robot that has such close like skin features, exact human movements and emotions and eye movements and slight wrinkling and you know, slight asymmetry. Like it's just not believable to me that would be possible. Maybe I could believe it if it was like based 100 years from now. Not that we'll probably be on this planet at that point, but are you upset? Oh, she just needed a hug. I'm sorry. It's so not fathomable that we'd be able to create something like that. And it kind of seems like M3GAN is supposed to be based in either a somewhat current parallel timeline to where we are now, or a somewhat futuristic timeline, but still not like, oh, this movie takes place 100 years from now. Like, no, it's still supposed to be kind of like an alternate timeline from somewhat near today. So it's just not believable to me, and that really bothered me in the movie, because you have M3GAN still looking like M3GAN does in the first movie with, you know, I mean, the slight differences, but still has the clear like silicone mask and fingers, and like she is very clearly something that you could fathom being created. But Amelia just is a human. It was very, that like bothered me so much, because I just am like, why? So that was my biggest critique. I didn't get over the whole movie. My other critique was, yes, they were self-aware in the cringe moments, like they kind of joked about it, but there were moments where it was still very cringy, and it was like a little too cringe for my liking, where I'm just like, this is stupid. There's a moment where M3GAN starts singing to Gemma, and I'm just like, this is so stupid. And like, yeah, Gemma's like making faces, like reacting of like, oh my god, please stop. But it just still was like, what's happening? Who wrote this in the script? And I will say, going off of that, this movie is 100% meant to be watched in a theater. Because I think if you're sitting at home watching it, you know, with headphones, or if you're alone watching it, it's not I feel like it would not be nearly as comedic. But I think when you have an entire room of people around you and you're all experiencing the jokes at the same time, then you hear people around you laughing at certain things, it makes the jokes land more, and it makes the movie more entertaining, I feel like, to have it as kind of a group experience. But I don't think I would enjoy it as much if I like rewatched this at home. I think an initial first watch in a theater is the best way to watch this movie. And I actually quite liked it. I did laugh a lot, so I think for me, like, that's a pretty job well done. I think, there's my criticisms, and I think, some things could have been better, but did I enjoy it? Yes. Was I entertained? Yes. So I would say it was a good watch. It's not scary. I wouldn't necessarily call it a horror movie, even though there were like kills on screen. I feel like it was more action, if anything. And that is another critique that I have, is the gore or lack of it. I believe that this movie was a PG-13 rating, and very evidently so, in that there was, like, all of the gore was off screen and you'd just see like blood splatter, or you'd hear the sound, but you don't get to watch any of the kills, and that was so disappointing to me. I don't know if this film has another cut that is not released to the public. I mean, I assume so, but I'm curious if they filmed some of these shots of the gore and then decided in post to remove them because of wanting a lower rating, because that happens a lot in horror, although this was the second installment, so they might have just not filmed them because they knew that they were going for that lower rating, which, I should check, but I could be totally wrong about that. But I would be shocked if this was rated R, because, like I said, like, the kills were all off screen, and I just think it would have been so much more enjoyable if we could see the kills. I guess that this is horror for people that don't tend to like horror, or horror for newbies, It's like, here's your little dip into the waters of horror. It's mostly comedy and action, but there's not a whole lot of actual horror going on in here, nor would I say it's a thriller really at all. So I guess that's my other criticism. I would have liked to see more horror elements. It's really bothering me, honestly, that there's so many horror comedies now. Like, I want more pure horror, or at least give me like 80% horror and 20% comedy. Like, what is up with all of the dark comedy? Like, they're called horror, but it's not horror, it's just a dark comedy, and a lot of them have like a little gore, but then it's like all just jokes, and like, some don't land well. A lot don't land well. I'm just tired of it. I think we're in a very interesting time of horror in which, we're getting some good ones, but a lot of this, I feel like the newer wave of horror, a lot of it has leaned towards comedy, because I think it's catering more to audiences that just want like quick enjoyment. And I think also a lot of people have so much like distaste for horror, because there's a lot of bad horror out there. Let's be honest. There's a lot of bad horror, and I think it's put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and I think that's fair. And I think because of that, a lot of filmmakers are making self-aware horror, and it's very much kind of feeling like they're going for what the original Scream did. But my thing is, the original Scream came out so long ago at this point, and that movie was iconic at the time for being self-aware, which was awesome. Love Scream. Do I like that movies in 2025 are still doing the same thing? No, it's annoying and it's redundant. Like, I get it that you're trying to be self-aware that horror is bad, but you could like contribute to making good horror. Like I feel like there is a way to still give people the heebie-jeebies, the creepies, without making a ton of jokes about how you're failing to do that, or how it's so goofy that your movie is showing people getting killed. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's my thoughts. I'm just ranting because it's a frustration of mine. I want good horror. You know, give me more. Give me more. And I still stand by really liking the movie Bring Her Back. That was a good one. Because that one was really going for the pure horror. Still jokes in there, but not as much. And yeah, I think I'm gonna leave my rant there. For M3GAN 2.0, I would suggest watching it if you're into the kind of self-aware, comedic, action, baby horror, you know? Or if you're just like looking for a fun watch that is not going to like gross you out or make you scared, like you just want something fun to watch, I would recommend that. I would also recommend going into a theater, or at least watching with friends in some capacity, so that the jokes are, you know, more funny and you can laugh off of each other. And also definitely watch the first one before this. I think if you were to just watch M3GAN 2.0 without any reference to the first one, I think, like, yeah, you'd be fine. Like, I think they kind of touch on what happened in the first one enough, but you want that kind of background to know the characters already and, like, their experiences, because it comes up a lot in this new movie. Okay, one last criticism. Because I was just thinking about this with M3GAN. So I liked her, like, personal growth in this movie, right? Like, she basically becomes the hero when in the last movie she was the villain. I just feel like it's not believable. Like, why would an AI develop emotions and like realize that they actually really care about their like humans and feel bad for them and feel empathy and remorse? Like, I get that that's like the portrayal they're going for, but I'm just like, no, I don't buy it. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I think I'm gonna leave it there, man. I don't know. I guess I've had mostly criticisms, and I'm sorry. I liked the jokes. Okay, the jokes were funny. There were some good ones that I remember like wanting to write down and save for this video. Didn't do that. There were some good jokes in there. Otherwise, mostly criticisms, but I still will say that I enjoyed it. So, I'm gonna go. Bye!